Hello everyone. So today we are going to work on this. So the character will be able to get into the car and start driving away. So in the first part we are going to establish the necessary blueprint interfaces and implement basic getting in and out getting in part, and then we will look into animations part for open the door and get in and sit down on the seat part. And this episode is sponsored by this generous patron. Thank you very much for your support. Okay, so far we have implemented this car. So today I'm going to implement a way to make a third person character walk into this car and get in. So first I don't have the third person character here, so let's add feature or content pack and third person. Right, now if I go to the third person game mode, and I need to disable possessing of this phone, otherwise I will be automatically possessing that one. Right, now it's like this. So how do we make this character enter this car? Okay, first let me open the car blueprint, and here if you remember I have added these doors as two separate components, and this is the interior. Right, this is driving side is this one. Okay, so yeah, now when the character tries to enter, we can open the door like this. Is that the way it opens? Well, let's assume so. Which axis? Okay, y axis. Right, so first let's add a collider here. I'll place it right next to the door. Okay, and now let's add a new boolean variable is driving, and by default it should be false. Right, now let's select this box. Let's call it player detector. So when player enter this collision area, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the door. If the player leave this area, the car will close the door. So yeah, let's start with that part. So here is the on open and here is close. Sorry, here is begin overlap and here is the end overlap. These are the two events we need. Okay, so this event should be working only if the character is not driving. So we can have a branch like this. So only if this car is not driven by any character, we should open the door. So let me no, and also this other actor should be the player as well. So how can we know if that is the player? Right, here let's implement a new blueprint class, new blueprint interface. Let's call it BPI player. Is player. Let's add a new function called is player, and let's add the output in the type of boolean, yes or no. So this will return true if the character which is overlapping with the door with the player detector is controlled by player. Right, now let's go ahead and implement this interface in the third person character like this. Add interface BPI player. Now we should have under interfaces is player. So let's just return is player controlled, the result of this node. This will return true if the character is actually controlled by the player. Right, now here get a reference from the other actor and we can use is player interface function to determine if this other character which is overlapping with this player detector collider is the player or not. So yeah, we can actually have only then that branch also needs to be passed. This should be true, then only we should open the door. So yeah, let's add a reroute node here, and let me collapse this because we need to do the same check for the collision end function as well. Let's collapse it to a macro player check is player check. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now if this is the player, what is this door? Let me rename this door left and the other one door right. Get a reference to door left, and this should be rotated 90 degrees. Yeah, let's say 90 degrees like this. So let's use move component node. In maybe 0.5 seconds. Right, so the relative location I'm not going to change, so get relative location, I'm going to keep it as it is, and the relative rotation I'm going to change it to this pitch component, which is Y component, to 90. Let's enable is in and is out. And do the same and set the rotation back to 0 when the character leaves the door. Right, shall we test it now? Oh, right. Okay. And I see some odd rotation. Let's use this force shortest path option. Yeah, it's fine now. Okay, the next part is character should enter. So how do we do that? Right, for that I have I already have some animations. Here we have a driving animation, enter animation, and exit animation for the mannequin. So let's import them all. This is driving, this is entering car, this is exiting car. Okay, now let's just to get an idea on how to play those animations. How do they look? Let me place the character like this, and let's manually play this just to see how it works. Okay, that's the way it's going to be. Which is odd, of course. So actually this animation doesn't really match the situation, but I don't have any other animations for the moment. So right, so let's put the driving animation inside the car and see how it looks. Okay, it looks like that. Right, shall we do some editing to this one? Right, let's set some keys and apply. Okay, now let's check. Right, now it seems fine, but the only problem is the legs are out of place. We can actually move up the character. Still a little head is a little too high. Right, now I think it seems fine. Okay, now alright, so let's only use this animation without actually using the enter or exit animations. First let's try changing the character to this animation. Right, So here let's add a small, let me hide this temporary. Let's add a small scene component to attach the character. It should be under the main mesh. Let's first try it like this. Okay. So let's name it driver socket. Right, let's automatically make the character get into the car and attach to this driver socket. So in the player, get in car, and here as the input I'll give what's the reference type here, scene component, right? Let's call it driver location. Alright, and let's implement get in car event. Oh wait, I have to compile this first. Now get in car. Right, so here what we have to do is we have to play any montage. I'm gonna play the driving animation, this one. Let's create an anime montage, driving one montage, and this has to be loop in animation, so we can make the animation loop like this. And also, in order to support animation montages, we have to add the default slot into the animation blueprint of the third person character. Right, now let's promote this one to a variable. Let's call it driver. And then let's call get in car on the driver, and as the driver location I'll give driver socket. So again, attach actor to component. Let's use this, and as the parent I will set the driver socket, and location, let's for now let's make it a snap to target, and let's see what happens. Now let me remove this one. Right, that's wrong, but rotation, let's keep world. No, what's the rotation of this? the world rotation. So what happened was character was looking upward. So let's make it like this and see what happens. Alright, the character is also moving as well, and we need to, when this happens, we need to transfer control to the air car. So it's called posses. Get player controller. Yeah, let's do it first. In this process, as the first step, let's do this part first. Posses. As the info, I'll give a reference to self, which is this car. Right, now let's see what happens. Okay, that's some progress. So here, as the montage, I'll select drive-in montage, and I'll set movement mode to none, because we don't need any movement here. And also I'll disable collisions. Set collision, set actor enable collision. Let's disable it so that it should allow us to easily get into the car. Right, now as you can see, the problem is this. Let me enable the visibility of the capsule so that we can see what's going on there. Right, it is rotated. Why does it rotate? Okay, let's try if we can manually change it and see. Let me eject from the car. Right, now the driver socket is here. Okay, and the character is over here, but I thought character should be in the driver's seat. Right, let's transfer that logic, this part, into the character. So we have driver location here, So we can attach actor to component, set location, snap to target, target is self. Okay, now let's check what happens. It's the same, right? Alright, so we can try something else. Let's let's actually drop a third person character into the car as a child object and make it a child of driver socket, and see how it looks. Okay, this is the way it looks. So in order to look forward, then I think we have to rotate the driver socket 180 degrees like this. Right, now let's delete this. Right, so what I did was this: I changed the local location value of the driver socket to these values and the rotation to these values, because I found out those are the values working after ejecting the character in the play mode and manually adjusting this driver location. I found out those are the values working. So this is what happens now. Character does enter, and if I eject, you can see the character is there like this, properly seated. So okay, so now we need to have a smooth transition here. When I call get in car, I will stop all let's call a stop movement immediately, so the character will stop running. Oh, it didn't work. Then what can we do? Why it didn't stop? Shall we give some delay for the posses? Here, instead of snapping to target, let's make it keyword. Then over time, let's say 0.5 seconds, let's move the capsule to 000 location. And let's check what happens then. Right, kind of looked odd, but it was actually better. Right, so then what we need is a smooth camera transition. So what can we do about that? Before processing, let's try setting the location of the camera to the current location of player's camera. So get player camera manager, get world transfer, so we can access both location and rotation. And let's set these cameras, set world transform, same as this one, before processing. Right, Then after that we should move it back to the usual location of the camera. So here again select the camera, move component to what's the relative location, everything is 0 over 0.3 seconds. Right, see, now it was smooth. The only problem is the character kind of looks like slide into the car. Other than that it looks fine, but let's work on that part too. Let's increase the camera transition time to, let's say, 1 second. It feels like too fast because right. Now back to the door. I made it invisible for testing to make to test things easily. Let me make it visible again. And after, yeah, right, this happens. When this happens, the character should also start the door should be closed. So yeah, maybe after this we can set the door move component to again 0 0, no, not 0 0, yeah, the rotation 0 0, but the relative location we don't need to change. So to location, put it back, and the rotation set it back to 0. Right, now let's check. It was too fast. What was the 0.5? Hey, what happened to the character? It looked like something odd happened to the character. Yeah, why is that? Sorry, driver socket is under left door. That's a mistake. It should be under cyberpunk car. Now maybe we will have to readjust the rotation. Yeah, what's wrong with that now? Looks like it has some rotation. Yeah, so select the car again, select the driver socket, can we hide the door? Right, driver socket is over there. Okay, this seems fine. These are the new values. X and Y 0, this one 180 degrees, the yaw, another to 24206. 24206, and this 2 was 0, this one is minus 180. Right, let me check again. Right, okay, perfect. Maybe not perfect, but it works. Right, so it has already taken 35 minutes. Wait, still not finished. Right, now we can go. So in the next episode, let's continue to improve the system. For example, we should be able to get down and exit from the car, and also we need to further improve the animations as well. Alright, for now I'm going to stop at this point, and as always, project files will be available for the download through Patreon page. Link would be in the description below. And if you would like to support my work, you can get the membership of the Patreon club. See you in another episode. Goodbye.